Hello, I'm Donald Macaulay. Thank you for joining me in this conversation with Larry Green.
So where do you think primary care is at the moment?
Uh, it's in a state of irregularity and confusion. There's not even agreement about what it is. Its underlying ontology is confused, but it's not primary care's fault necessarily. Medicine, as it developed in the 17 and 18 and 1900s, is pretty much over. And going from the industrial age to the information age, a lot of primary care's principles are finally actually achievable, such as continuity. Continuity is now totally plausible and possible, and despite human migration and human movement and that sort of stuff. So, but anyway, the main problem is primary care doesn't have its essence figured out well enough to know how to measure it. And until we can measure it, research about primary care is going to struggle. It's always going to be partial. And it's being mostly used right now to study someone else's formulation of what constitutes an important issue. Disease is way overrated. Diagnosis is overrated. Primary care is mostly about prognostic decisions, about helping people make decisions that improve their lives, just help them be a little healthier. We've got a ways to go on that, but the really good news is that when you sit down and talk to young people that are populating the field, there's more than hope. There's optimism. The facts just support the fact that primary care is about to get a lot better.
If you were to set the agenda for primary care, what would you prioritize?
Number one thing is figure out how to measure it.
Any other areas?
Nope, that's a priority.
So
I've spent a lot of my career building infrastructures, systems that permit primary care to be delivered, taught, and investigated, like practice-based research networks, their methods, working on classification schemes, taxonomies, trying to create the systems in which it can be done.
One of the great things that people with your experience can do is to warn the current generation of researchers about mistakes. What kind of mistakes do you think you made or you'd advise them to avoid?
I think the mistakes I made was overestimating the size of the challenges and believing that each individual family physicians and each practice could address the big problems, fundamental problems and I wish I'd spent more time in just helping people get together. It takes working together across tribes, disciplines, professions, economic sectors to fulfill the primary care function. And we're still tied up in our own identity too much. The mistake was thinking that we were supposed to promote ourselves, that family medicine was going to heal the world. The aims, goals, and values of family medicine are as valuable today and as essential as they've ever been. But the way we went about implementing those values is, it's like deciding you're going to destroy a house and what you've got is a toothpick. You better go get a bulldozer and someone who can drive it and work with other people if you're going to build something. The word together is a really, really super good word that I wish I had put more emphasis on throughout my career.
I like the word together. Tell me a little bit more about it. Who would you bring into your together family?
Well, one of the urgent issues is to at least penetrate the walls, if not tear them down, between public health, primary care, and mental health. The way those things are organized now are artifacts of the 18 and 1900s, and they haven't worked well, and there's no reason to keep trying to develop them separated from each other. They need to be, it's 1 + 1 + 1 = 111, not 3. They've got to blend together into something that is much superior to the way they operated in the last couple of centuries. This gets to issues of what it means to be human. Humans, we spend a lot of calories. Our parents spend a lot of time. Our genetics has a big chunk of it devoted to differentiating ourselves from everyone else and becoming who we are and what we are. It's fundamental to survival. We have to get over that so that we can work in groups, and we're not very good at that. Instead of resisting one worldview, I see primary care being at its best when it selectively chooses the parts of worldview that makes it better. And to reject the biomedical model, I think, is hugely dumb. And to create a battleground there where we're trying to justify our alternative view to just a biomedical view. Why do that when we can have it all? We can have the biomedical view, we can have the individual psychological view, and we can have that environmental view of interacting. This is the big message of genetics so far. Do you remember when people thought there'd be 250,000 human genes? And then, well, at least 200, and then at least 100,000, and then 100, and then it's settled in now around 27,000 to maybe 29.5. But the real message is that you and I don't have the same number of genes. That this is not a fixed, solid thing. And it's not the gene, it's the interaction that gene is capable of having with the way we think, what we do, how we live, where we are, our environment sort of stuff. So it is in interactions that we create, off of 4 nucleotides, we create the infinite variety of humans, and then those humans create infinite interactions. Primary care just needs to calm down and accept the fact that all the sciences, the humanities, history, especially economics, have things to contribute to help us to be all that we can be. Lighten up, get over ourselves. If someone knows something that helps us be better, if they want to, if you can't sell it, give it away. If it's free, take it and use it. If it works, great. If it doesn't, test it, measure it, see if it gets better. And if it's not a good idea, jettison it. Get the hell. Don't adopt it as part of our identity. Don't have strong feelings about that.